Hi, my name is Asim. I'm a passionate language learner. I have been studying English for 3 years and 6 months now. In this video, I will share with you everything you need to know about learning English on your own from home. I will show you which study plan I focused on, which methods I followed, and what resources I used to self study English, and so much more. First, I want to mention that yes, you can learn English on your own from home without anyone's help. If you have a good internet and a phone, you have everything you need to learn English. You don't need to go to a language institute or hire a private English teacher. You can learn it on your own. I am a living proof of that. When a friend or someone watches my videos and they say, "Ask him, which academy did you go to learn English?" And my answer is none. I didn't go to any language institute to learn English. I learned it by myself using free online resources. And you can too. If you know the right methods and you follow them, you can learn any language, including English, on your own from home. In a language, you only need three things to become fluent. If we were to break down learning English, I would divide it into three parts. If you master these and learn these parts, you will become fluent in English. We will discuss each of these parts one by one. The first one is pronunciation. This is by far the most important step of learning English. I see so many people, so many guys, they just skip pronunciation. They learn other things like grammar, but they completely ignore pronunciation. That's a very big mistake because people will not understand you if your pronunciation is not good. No matter how amazing your grammar is, if you speak to someone and they don't understand you, it doesn't matter. That's why we need to learn pronunciation. Over the past 3 years, I've spoken to many English learners, and the ones who have amazing pronunciation are the ones who sound fluent and people want to listen to them. Here is how you can learn and improve your English pronunciation. You can use the method called the imitation method. I followed it myself. It's such a great way to improve your pronunciation, plus, it's not too difficult to do. Imitation means to copy someone or to copy someone's actions. In this case, we will copy someone's pronunciation and speaking style. Here is how the imitation method works. First, listen to someone you want to copy. Maybe you can pick a celebrity, an actor, or a YouTuber. Pick someone whose pronunciation you want to copy, who you want to sound like. Second, pay close attention to how they pronounce words. Pay attention to how they connect different words, how they connect sentences, and how they say each letter and each word. Third, copy them when you speak. When you have a conversation in English, think about how that person spoke, imagine it, remember it, and try to pronounce words the exact same way they did. There's an English teacher on YouTube. Her channel name is English with Lucy. Maybe some of you guys know her. When I was a beginner in English, I would watch her videos again and again. I would pay close attention to how she would pronounce words. Then I would try to copy her. Whenever I would try to have conversations in English, I would try to pronounce words like her. I would try to speak the way she did. And it improved my pronunciation a lot. I picked up a lot of British accent that way as well, but then later on I switched to American accent. So that's really how you improve your pronunciation. The second step of learning a language that you need to learn and master is vocabulary. Vocabulary is important because the more words, phrases, and idioms you know, the better you will understand other people. Plus, you will be able to convey your thoughts more clearly. The way I learned vocabulary was that I had a small notebook, this one. Some people use flashcards, those are great as well. I would highly recommend them, but personally, I prefer having like a small physical notebook. Every time I would hear a new word, idiom, or phrase that I did not understand in English, I would immediately write it down in my notebook. By the end of the day, usually in the evenings, I would look up those words that I written in my notebook in a dictionary. Personally, I used Cambridge Dictionary for learning meanings and definitions, but you can use any online dictionary you like. So I would look up that word, idiom, or phrase that I didn't know. I would learn its definition in English. And then the next step I would take is that I would try to use those words, idioms, or phrases I learned in my conversation so that I don't forget them. The thing about vocabulary is that if you don't consistently use it, you will lose it. Like, you're not gonna remember those words if you don't use them regularly in your conversations. That's pretty much how I learned vocabulary from start to finish. Like, there is no finishing line actually. I still use this method to learn new words in English. The next important thing that you need to learn to speak a language fluently is grammar. We all need grammar to speak a language correctly without mistakes. Having said that, that doesn't mean you have to pick up a grammar book, read from page 1 to page 600 and memorize all of the complex grammar rules. In my opinion, that is unnecessary. You don't need to memorize grammar rules. Some people might disagree with this. They say if you want to speak fluent English, you have to memorize grammar rules. And look, I'm not saying that we don't need to learn grammar. I say grammar is super important. We need to learn it. I'm just against the way most people learn grammar. They study grammar rules, which is not an effective way of learning grammar. It works for some people, but this is not how naturally people learn grammar. My argument is this: most people, myself included, never studied the grammar of their native language, and yet still they speak it fluently without mistakes. Most English native speakers I know have never studied English grammar in their life, but yet still they speak English perfectly. That's because they learn grammar naturally by being in the environment of English. And this is the method I would recommend for most of you to learn grammar. This is how you learn grammar. You don't learn grammar by memorizing rules. You learn it by being in the environment of English, by constantly surrounding yourself with English, by constantly listening to English and paying attention to different structures and tenses and all of these things. And you slowly, over time, you start to pick up those structures. They start to become a part of your vocabulary, and you speak grammar, you speak English correctly without ever memorizing grammar rules. If you listen to English every day a lot, you will get this sense of which sentence is correct and which one is wrong. And that is all you need to speak English fluently and confidently. I have a complete video on how you can learn English grammar without memorizing the rules. If you're interested, you can watch it right here somewhere. I'll put it. If you need grammar rules for school exams, like they're part of your curriculum, then sure, go ahead, learn them. But if your goal is to speak English fluently, then just ignore studying grammar rules. Focus on listening, and your grammar will improve over time naturally. So, this was my guide on how you can learn English or any language on your own by yourself without needing anyone's help from home. Of course, there are other parts of learning English that I could not cover in this video. Things like what should you listen to, where to find English speaking partners, where to practice your speaking and how to practice, and how you can become fluent. If you want to learn those things, then you can watch this video in which I share all of these things in a lot more detail. Go and watch this video then. Okay, I hope this lesson was helpful. See you in the next one.